Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your girl, Dayna Patreace, aka the Black Fairy, and I am here with another video for y'all. Today, this video is called Men Are 100% Responsible for Unwanted Pregnancies, an Unpopular Opinion About Seggs and Birth Control. Okay, now what made me want to do this video was that I came across a viral story about an NBA player on Twitter that had impregnated a woman and I guess wants to pay it all up front. We're going to get into it. But before we do, I just want to introduce you to my channel. Again, I'm Dayna Patreace, aka the Black Fairy. This is Black Fairy Tings, where we deconstruct patriarchy, we deconstruct Christianity, and we absolutely 100% build ourselves up as divine feminine women, divine feminine goddesses, and we become our best selves, right? By breaking down these patriarchal systems, we free ourselves, we free our minds, and we also elevate. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to play the intro, and then what we will do is we will get right into this story.
Yes. I fall in love with myself, and I want someone to share it with me. I want someone to share me with me.
Okay, so I'm going to introduce the story now. I'm going to pull up my screenshots. So let me add it to the stage. Okay. So this here is the Twitter exchange. I blocked out everybody's names because I don't have permission to use their information. So I don't want to, disrespect anybody. But oops. But here we go. Right? So this is the actual post. It says NBA star Anthony Edwards made a historic move by paying $1,080,000 in child support all at once, covering 18 years worth of payments. That's $5,000 a month, but he decided to settle it all up front. The message is clear. Don't ask me for a thing for the next 18 years. Okay, now there was various, reactions to this story. The one that I reacted to was this girl, right? She's like, why do women get the praise and okay for smortions? Okay, because I don't think I can say that word. Or putting her child up for adoption if she don't want it. But a man is obligated to be a dad to a child he said up front he didn't want, and still paid in full child support to be left alone? Double standard much? I don't agree with this at all, right? I don't think women get praised, for this at all, whether they choose to keep the child or not. They don't get praised. There was, a couple emojis and things like that looked over it. She explained that she herself is a married woman with 4 kids, but if a man told her up front he wasn't going to have anything to do with an unplanned child, or asked me, I guess she's trying to say, to get a smortion and get the F on. So she would do it, right? If a man told her, listen, I don't want that, and that's cool. That's her decision, right? She's married with 4 kids, so that's fine. Now it says, but every woman someone said, but not every woman believes in a smortion. But every man can pull their phallus out of the coochie before he ejaculates, so it wouldn't be a problem. And then someone said, you can still get preggo though, and if you're not in nothing serious as a female, why not be on birth control? Or why not express you don't believe in some smortions and not on birth control up front? Most only speak on that situation or once the situation is already in place. Now, for me, this is gaslighting. You're putting all of the onus on the woman. If that was something that he truly cared about because he knew he didn't want to have children, specifically not with her, then why didn't he have the conversation, right? This goes back to simple biology. People don't understand simple biology of how actually women get pregnant. No sperm released inside her body, no chance of pregnancy. So why is it on her to have these conversations when the only way that she will get pregnant is if a man releases himself inside of her, right? So I blocked my own thing out. I don't know why. I think I was just in the mode of just blocking everything that I blocked my own. But this is me. As says birth control isn't good for us, but also the chances of impregnating a woman without, and I don't know if the word is allowed, but I said ejaculation, which I think is okay to use, inside of them is low. Knowing she isn't on BC birth control and knowing you want to hit it raw falls back on the man and his choice to proceed knowing the possibility of pregnancy. Right? So here it is again. I guess I wanted you guys to see the full thing. You know what I'm saying? Right? So there was a couple reactions and the responses that I'm going to go through to this and to some other things that I stated. So one guy was like, true. But if that man has told you he doesn't want anything to do with that child, then she also has to own up to it. It will always take two to tango. Hell, and smortion isn't the only way to avoid having a child also. Right? Someone said she could have taken the morning after pill. I'm like, she could have and still ended up pregnant. Again, if he didn't ejaculate inside of her, she wouldn't need to do anything. So maybe don't have smegs with women you don't want to chance impregnating. Or are men unable to control themselves? So much so they can't turn it down. Now he came back with something else. I think this is on. So he goes, but when he whipped it out though, without protection, you were fine with it. I'm like, but he's the one who doesn't want children. You don't have to jump into every coochie, okay, raw at that because it's available. If you don't align on issues like smortion, then why are you inserting your peen? Don't be dense and don't move the goalpost. He's like, you moved it from the original point. And the fact that you're getting abusive shows a low level of reasoning. Let's not act like schmex is not recreational for both sexes. Considering he keeps trying to miss the point intentionally and wants to take away responsibility from men and ownership of their own body and what they do with it, I just stopped interacting with him. Because I'm not going to have low-level discussions with low-level people. So I just let him have it because I'm not going to go back and forth with fools, okay? Again, I'm not saying she doesn't have a responsibility, but it's his responsibility more so than anybody else because he is the one who performs the action in which a pregnancy can be conceived. I don't care what y'all say. That is what I believe. And nobody can tell me nothing because at the end of the day, science backs me factually. If you do not insert and release, there will be no baby. So, again, this is another response I had to the original girl that I wasn't going back and forth with her because she didn't respond to me. But I actually think this was the first thing that I said to her. The other thing was in response to that person talking about birth control. So I said, you realize, right? So I'm going to read it again, actually. So she goes, why do women get praise and the okay smortion or putting her child up for adoption if she don't want it? But a man is obligated to be a dad to a child he said up front he didn't want and still paid in full child support to be left alone. Double standard much, right? So this was my initial comment where I said, you realize that saying that doesn't stop the sperm he releases from his body on purpose inside of her from getting pregnant. If he didn't want an unplanned pregnancy, he shouldn't be playing Russian roulette and strap up or get a vasectomy, right? So then again, we go back to she could have had taken the morning after pill. And I said, and I think I read this before, she could have still ended up pregnant again. Again, going through the process of the biological steps that need to happen in order for her to be impregnated, right? So kind of like, I see that, I kind of, we went it over with, but he's like, when he whipped it out, and so we read this, right? Let me move forward. So then I went back to what I said, some of the things that were responding to my response. So this guy said, and from what I said from this post, when I said, birth control isn't good for us, but also the chances of impregnating a woman without ejaculation inside of her is low. Knowing she isn't on BC and knowing you want to hit it raw falls back on the man and his choice to proceed knowing the possibility of pregnancy. Now, this guy, I think I read his response as well, but I didn't see my response to his response, right? So even though he's agreeing with me by saying true, but if the man has told you he doesn't want anything to do with that child, then she also has to own up to. It will always take two to tango. Hell, an abortion isn't the only way to avoid having a child also. I'm like, she is owning up to it, just not the way he wants her to, right? Because she's owning up to it by having the child. She put herself in the situation where she got pregnant and she's choosing to keep it. She's owning up to it, just not how he wants her to. Nobody forced him to follow any actions to not get her pregnant. And there is a way to avoid pregnancy, and that's not to sleep with women you don't want children with, right? So why are men chancing it so often with so many? Now, this man chooses to keep it real. He's like, because we are weak, damn it. Just keep it 100. Just keep it at 100, right? Like, at least he was real. I got to give him that, right? But here's the thing. Men will also say that they're naturally leaders, but you don't have the self-control over your body. You admit that when it comes to sex, when it comes to women, that you are weak-minded and physically weak, right? Because you can't even have control over your own body, right? So again, I said, she could have still ended up pregnant. Again, if he didn't, inside her, wouldn't need to do anything. Maybe you don't have sex with women you don't want a chance of impregnating, or are men unable to control themselves so much so they can't turn it down, right? And then he also responded to that. We saw that as well, right? So with all this back and forth, I started to get upset because I'm like, but he's the one who doesn't want children. I don't understand what these men and some women don't understand about this. You don't have to jump at every coochie, right? I read this, raw at that, because it's available, right? So another guy came across and he said, falls on the women who don't mention anything too until it's too late. She also knows the possibility of pregnancy too, a lot more than the man. And that's another thing. Why are you admitting that you guys don't know how sex works, but fully engaging it full force in ignorance, and then again blaming it on the person who's supposedly who you feel is more educated based on the fact that she has a vagina? Like, it's so funny how you guys move the goalpost of being these leaders, providers, protectors, but the minute you have to take responsibility for something, you're constantly moving it onto the woman. You guys are Adam's sons for real, just incels. And if you want to know what I'm more talking about, that I have a video called, Adam wasn't the first man, he was the first incel, right? Blaming the woman. Oh, the woman you gave me here. Oh, I can't help myself. I have to do what she says. I have to eat the apple. She gave it to me. What was I supposed to do? Like, you guys run from responsibility and common sense is chasing you and you're winning the race. What is going on? Right? And then they try to say, oh, there's women condoms. What does that have to do with the fact that you, I'll keep it clean, you, brother, are saying that you don't want children? Why are you leaving it up to her to be able to prevent pregnancy, especially when you clearly don't know whether she would keep it or not? Why aren't you having these conversations before you start having sex? Right? And then this guy came back around and was like, that too, of course they act like those don't exist, but I just hate how they act like they're so upfront but about control of their so believes or none, which he's not making any sense, but I can see that he's just trying to, again, put it on the woman. Like, oh, well, yeah, women condom. If a man doesn't want to wear a male condom, what makes you think he wants to insert inside himself into a female condom? Y'all don't even like wearing condoms. Majority of the time, statistics show it. You guys don't like to wear protection. So if a woman, because I know women who keep condoms on and men get mad when they pull out that fact that they have their condoms. Not even women condoms, but condoms for you. Oh, you didn't bring one? I got one for you. You guys get cheesed. You guys get upset. You guys get all like, oh, you don't trust me. I don't like the way it feels. Oh, I can't feel anything. It feels different. All the other BS stuff that you guys say in order to keep going, right? So that was kind of the end of the exchange. I did want to take a note because I went back to grab these screenshots. I was told that, that this story wasn't indeed accurate. So it says rumors that Anthony Edwards paid $1 million upfront in child support to Aisha Howard are false. She denied the claim, citing no agreement or court action. Edwards also said that his past comments don't reflect his true beliefs. There's no evidence to support this story. But regardless of the fact that whether there was evidence or not, we can see by the way that men have chosen to move forward with everything and how they reacted to this story, what they're truly about. So I'm going to play a little break while I get this next part up, because we're going to really go into it. I went into the exchange that I had, but I want to break down even more, right, with some statistics and some data and facts and some biology, right? We're going to get a little bit of sex education up in this bitch so that we can really get into why men are absolutely 100% responsible for unwanted pregnancies. An unpopular opinion, but my opinion is what it is. So we'll be back in about 30 seconds.
Hey, you guys, it's your girl, Dayna Patreace, aka the Black Fairy. And I am just here to remind you, please like, share, comment, subscribe, okay? Click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos or any new lives, okay? I will be coming here with more and more information. So please, you don't want to miss out. And this is just a quick reminder and a quick thank you, because it's a free way to support the channel and to support me. I love y'all.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to get into is the biological reality. Why men are 100% responsible. Why are you saying this, Dayna? Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Why do I say this? Right? So the first thing I'll say is that we're going to, well, no, you know what? The first thing we're going to go through is the basic reproduction facts, right? Women can only get pregnant during a short fertility window each cycle, while men are fertile 24/7. Let's get into the key factor in conception. No ejaculation equals no pregnancy, right? If a man ejaculates responsibly, right, either using protection or abstaining when he doesn't want kids, there's no pregnancy to worry about, right? So it is biological wise, it's on the man to not giggity it up in every cutesy he comes across if he truly isn't ready for children. If he truly doesn't think that this mother is mother material and just wants to, I guess, have fun. I do think that it's important to have these conversations beforehand. And yes, it should be up to both of them. But at the end of the day, if a man wants to have this stance, he should make it known from before so that the woman can make a choice herself, or that he can make a choice. Because she could say, you know what? If I get pregnant, I'm going to keep it because I don't believe in abortion. Like, I personally don't believe in abortion. So if I get pregnant, I'm not going to get it. And you continue and you think, well, I told her, so she knew that she'd be ending up by, no. You don't get to use that as an excuse. I'm sorry. You just don't. Don't mess with her. Your values don't align. Why are you having sex with her? Next thing is the stats, right? Which is men's avoidance of contraception, okay? So how often do men refuse condoms? Studies show that a significant percentage of men opt out of condoms when given the choice. What did that say again? Studies show that a significant percentage of men opt out of condoms when given the choice. Let's discuss vasectomy versus female birth control. Vasectomies are low risk. They're highly effective, also reversible, yet few men get them. Again, putting all the onus on women, right? Women, on the other hand, are expected to take hormonal birth control, which comes with side effects, right? Or undergo invasive procedures. Getting your two types is way more invasive, way more healing time than a man getting a vasectomy. Now, what's going on with these men and their resistance to birth control options, right? Because male birth control trials have been halted due to side effects. The joke is that those side effects are the same side effects that women have endured for decades. But I guess if we can't have men going through that, right? Acne, headaches, hormonal imbalances, things like that, right? No, men can't tolerate that. You guys swear you're the stronger gender of the species, but at every turn, admit you're weaker and show us that you're weaker with your actions, with your mindset. You know, all of this, and men expect women to be responsible for pregnancy prevention. Insanity. There's also a double standard that I want to get into. But I'm just going to take another quick break before we get into this next part.
Hey, y'all. Do you need a gratitude journal? Well, if you do, me, myself, and I, Dayna Patreace, aka the Black Fairy, have gratitude journals available for sale in the link below. They go for $6.99 USD, and no worries. By clicking the link in the bio, it will send you straight to your country and to your currency. So don't worry about that. But just to give you a rough estimate, it is $6.99. Now, if you didn't know, gratitude is one of the best ways to not only affirm what it is that you want in your life, but to affirm what it is you want to see in your life. With that being said, this is a great tool and opportunity for you to take a part of. It's an inexpensive way for you to tap into the law of attraction. I highly, highly recommend it. And I love y'all. Link in the bio below.
Yeah, so again, the link in the bio is below if you would like to get yourself a gratitude journal. Again, it's an amazing way to really just manifest your best life. Let's get into the double standard, right? So the double standard is this: blaming women for men's actions. Society holds women accountable for pregnancy despite men's direct role in causing it. There's this idea that women should choose better men, which ignores that men can choose to not to ejaculate irresponsibly. Like, I think that's the part that gets me. It's just like, you're the reason. Anyways. Okay, it also says, women who keep pregnancies are shamed. But why isn't there equal shame on the men who created the pregnancy, right? We saw that in the thread that we read. There was a woman who just took up for him. Oh, she could, like, as if misfortune isn't a major surgery. As if the man didn't have a choice of whether or not he wanted to impregnate her by not ejaculating inside of her. And again, if you don't have the self-control, then why are you sleeping with women and taking that chance with women that you don't want to make a mother, and then putting it on them and making the whole responsibility on them, even though the only reason they're pregnant is because of your lack of self-control? It'll never sit right with me. Right now, you could be like, okay, Dayna, you've been consistent and on these niggas' necks for this whole video. But what are the solutions? Well, this is for me, this is what accountability would look like, right? I do believe that men should take responsibility for contraceptions, condoms, vasectomy, or even abstaining if they don't want kids, right? Because it's completely within their power. I also believe that we need to normalize holding men accountable for unplanned pregnancies, which is what I feel like I'm doing with this video right now. Holding men accountable for unplanned pregnancies, because there would be no pregnancy if you had not released your stuff inside of her body. We also need to reframe the conversation, okay? Instead of asking why women keep pregnancies, ask why men create them. And last but not least would be to end the entitlement mindset, y'all. If a man doesn't want kids, the solution is simple. Stop ejaculating irresponsibly, okay? It's not that hard, I promise you. Now we are going to get in conclusion of all this. I just want to wrap it up. I was going to say let's take another break, but I really don't think it's necessary. That being said, I want to reinforce the perspective. I want to wrap up by emphasizing that unwanted pregnancies are preventable if men take full responsibility for their reproductive choices, right? Anyways, I do want to encourage to further this discussion. I doubt that this will be my last video on this topic, but I really do want to discuss why we continue to place all of the responsibility on women. It's 2025. It's 2025. There is no need for us to be in this ignorant place at such a time as this. There's too much information. Honestly, I think the upside to it all is that men are showing us how uneducated they are. You know, women are not dating anymore, aren't settling anymore, and the birth rates are down. So we're hearing you. It's all our fault. So we're just no longer engaging with y'all. And now men are going through a loneliness epidemic, right? Now they're offing themselves at higher rates. They're not taking it well, yet they still want to uphold a system that upholds them to be in this position. Many of you want the power of patriarchy, right? I'm talking to men and some women want the power of patriarchy. And the only thing you want to change is how it doesn't put men in favor, because it doesn't favor, patriarchy doesn't favor men either. Not the average man anyways. Capitalism doesn't as well. But you cling to these ideals because they've sold you this dream of what manhood should be like and how it should be and what you should have. And then blaming that onus on the women who don't even make the rules. The men do. It's absolutely discouraging. I understand why we are now in the position that we are. Single women are the happiest demographic of women. Meanwhile, married men are next. And married women are underneath that. There should be no reason why women who are married should be, according to what men say everything marriage should be the unhappiest demographic in our species, right? Instead, we're fighting the latter. Women who are single are much happier. And they're not bending or compromising to this system anymore, which is really why we see them rolling back on our rights and things like that, depending on where you are in the world. I personally am a Canadian Jamaican. However, I'm seeing now, especially with what's going on in the States, that, well, I'm not seeing this for the first time now. We really aren't that different. A lot of Canadians have the same Christian radicalism in regards to, smortion and things like that. Again, there's this whole, I can't believe how uneducated we still are in regards to this whole thing. But you know what it is? I'm going to end the video right here. Please let me know what you think below, right? Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Everybody be respectful. We respect each other. I respect differing opinions as long as it's not aggressive or rude, right? So I love you. I believe in you. We got this. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what you think about some of the statements I've made. And let's continue the discussion below in the comment section. You guys have a great day.
Yes. I fall in love with myself, and I want someone to share it with me. I want someone to share me with me.